Hey guys, this is Mr. A. Chrissy here, and welcome back to another movie review. Today's movie review is going to be on the 2000 American Gothic horror film, Dracula 2000. Yep, that's right, I'm reviewing a Dracula movie, and that's going to be on the 2000 version of Dracula called Dracula 2000. And internationally, this movie actually came, in some countries internationally, this movie came out in 2001 as Dracula 2001. But since we're here in the United States, and I live here in the United States, and I'm gonna call it Dracula 2000. So, yeah, Dracula 2000 is so far the last Dracula movie from what I've read, and so. The plot follows Dracula who arrives in New Orleans, Louisiana in the 21st century and seeks out Mary Hiller, a descendant of Abraham Van Helsing. And, yeah, that's pretty much the basic story. That's pretty much the basic story of Dracula 2000 on what it's about. So, yeah. So, I remember first hearing about this movie back when I watched, one of those old-fashioned Fine Brothers spoiler videos, 100 horror movie spoiler videos, because I think it's still on YouTube, but it's actually a very old Fine Brothers, react video, and, it's back when the Fine Brothers, Rafi and Benny used to, they used to do these spoiler videos, But, yeah, so I first heard of this movie, long ago when I watched that spoiler video by the Fine Brothers, and so... Yeah, and of course, at the very end, of course, Dracula 2000, it's Dracula in this movie, Dracula actually reveals himself to be Judas. Yeah, that. Yeah, of course, that Judas. Of course, he's revealed to be Judas, and of course, just like in every other Dracula movie, Dracula's killed. Yep, Dracula dies, and note to self, every Dracula movie will end the same way. Yeah, because and I think after this movie, no more Dracula movies have been made, except. I think I remember seeing a commercial for a Dracula miniseries that came out on NBC long ago, but I never really got into that. But I decided to check out Dracula 2000 since it was streaming on Paramount Plus anyway. So I watched Dracula 2000, and it was a critical and commercial failure. Not that many people went and saw this movie when it came out on December 22nd of 2000. I mean, I was actually a year old when this movie came out on December, December 22nd of 2000. But I actually thought that the setting of New Orleans, Louisiana, I thought it was pretty nice, and of course, it was just not a bad movie. I thought it was just a decent movie in my opinion. I thought it was pretty decent. Yeah, but you gotta admit, guys. Dracula 2000 does have a killer soundtrack. It sure does have a badass soundtrack by many of these rock and roll bands, led by heavy metal bands and rock and roll bands. Because the soundtrack in this movie, you gotta admit, it's very awesome. It's badass. It's killer. It's basically made by many rock and roll and heavy metal bands like Linkin Park. I actually know Linkin Park. I know I've heard of that band before. Linkin Park's music that was featured in this movie. Because I will say that the redeeming quality about this movie is definitely the rock and roll and heavy metal soundtrack. Yeah, it's very awesome to listen to. And of course, Wes Craven also worked on this film too, because I think Wes Craven worked on this film as an executive producer, which explains that the promotional title was called Wes Craven Presents Dracula 2000. And I do love Wes Craven. I think Wes Craven actually directed a lot of really good movies, like the Scream films, and he worked on Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, and of course I remember hearing that back in 2015. Well, actually, I didn't really know anything about Wes Anderson at the time when he passed away in 2015, but he was definitely a really great horror director, and he directed lots of great horror movies like Nightmare on Elm Street and the Scream films. Yeah, because we all really miss Wes Craven. He was a great guy, and Wes Craven, yeah, rest in peace to him. And the acting performances in Dracula 2000, I think the acting performances itself, it's not that bad in my opinion. I mean, I know Gerard Butler is actually in this movie, and Gerard Butler, he did a pretty good job in this movie. So overall, Dracula 2000 was a decent movie from 2000. And I'm going to give Dracula 2000 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's not bad. It wasn't awful. It wasn't horrendous or anything like that. It was just a decent movie. Solid film, period. So there you have it, guys. That's going to be it for my movie review on Dracula 2000. And that's going to be it for this video. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying goodbye, everybody, and that's about it.